Hey everyone, welcome to Quick Break Games. So after the release of LEGO Star Wars the video game and LEGO Star Wars 2 the original trilogy, in 2007 TT Games decided to combine both of those games into what became LEGO Star Wars the Complete Saga. This game allows you to play through LEGO versions of Star Wars episodes 1 through 6 all in one package. Now you may be wondering why they would do this since the first two games just came out in the 2 prior years. Well, for one, it's nice to have all 6 movies at the time all in one game, and 2, and I think this is probably the biggest reason, the 7th generation of consoles, the Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii, were now well underway, and the first 2 LEGO Star Wars games were essentially 6th generation games, so LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga was a way to bring both those games to the new console generation with enhanced graphics and visuals. And it definitely accomplished this, as the vast majority of people play this version rather than those original games today. Now, I already did full retrospectives of those first 2 LEGO Star Wars games, and you can find links to those in the description and on my channel. Now, with that being said, I'm just going to be covering the new content and changes in this retrospective and analysis of 2007's LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. So when you boot up the game, it's very much like the first 2 games with a similar title screen and the classic Star Wars theme. When starting a new game, you'll once again be playing as Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, just like the first game. But like the second game, the Mos Eisley Cantina returns as the game's hub world, where you'll navigate between levels. With this game being on newer consoles, the graphics have been improved a bit, especially compared to the 2005 game. Textures are much sharper, and the character models have a nice shine to them, which I think gives them a more plastic look. The Mos Eisley Cantina has been completely redesigned here with a new layout, and I'd say it's probably a bit larger as well. The shop returns, and it's pretty much identical to the last game. You can buy hints, characters, and vehicles, extras, enter cheat codes, buy gold bricks, and then you can rewatch any cutscenes that you've unlocked. In the back left side of the starting room, you'll find the band playing the classic Cantina music. One really cool Easter egg here is if you turn off the music through the game's options in the pause menu, the band will stop playing and just stand around. That's a really cool attention to detail. But anyway, on the right side of the room, there are 2 back-to-tanks where the character creator returns. It's very similar to the last game, except now there's a much bigger character roster, allowing for more customization and options to build your character. Just to the right of the shop is a door that leads to a brand new mode, 2-player arcade. As the name suggests, you'll need to have a co-op partner playing with you. This is unavailable in solo play, you'll just kind of be forced away from the door. But this is a pretty cool mode, so once you have 2 players, you can enter the door and you'll be at a menu screen with several different options. You get to choose the level or the map that you get to play in, and there's a decent amount to choose from a bunch of different Star Wars planets. Then there's a few different modes you can play as well. Duel mode is probably the most popular, where you and your co-op buddy can just fight each other. Then there's also battle enemies and collect studs. These are pretty self-explanatory, where you take out X number of enemies or collect X number of studs against your co-op partner. After you make your initial selections, you can select a character and play. Now, I don't have too much experience playing this mode, as I mostly play solo, but this is a really cool addition to the game, and it can really add a lot of replayability if you have a friend to duke it out with. And speaking of having a friend to duke it out with, this is potentially much easier to do in LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, because in the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of the game, you are no longer limited to couch co-op, as these versions of the game support online play for the first time in a TT Games LEGO game. Keep in mind, on Xbox 360 you will need an active Xbox Live Gold membership, now known as Game Pass Core, to play online. And the online play, I'd say it works decent. You can invite a friend or make your game public so anybody can drop into your game at any time online. I'd say the worst part of it is that both players need to be on your screen. You can't go wandering off into a different part of the level on your own or anything like that. You both gotta stick together. There is a brief loading screen or synchronization screen when you enter new areas of levels, which can be a little bit annoying, and sometimes your co-op partner can drop out of the game entirely, unexpectedly, at least in my experience. It's not the most solid experience, but I'd gladly take this over not having online play at all. It's also just awesome that they made it drop in, drop out, just like the local co-op. Like, it's all pretty seamless. But alright, let's get into the levels. Like the original games, you'll need to play through the first level of Episode 1, Negotiations, and then you can jump into any of the other 5 films. Now, this game has a total of 36 levels, 6 for each movie. With some exceptions, which we'll get into in a bit, these are the exact same levels from the first 2 LEGO Star Wars games, so if you've played those, you know what to expect here. But regardless if you've played the originals or not, there is a ton of content here, One thing I love is how each film's room in the cantina is designed around that movie. The Phantom Menace has a Trade Federation battleship theme to it on the doors. Revenge of the Sith has the Mustafar theme. A New Hope looks like Tatooine, and so on. It's a really nice touch. The levels for the prequels in particular here have been upgraded the most. Obviously, they have been remastered with the improved graphics, but also many of the gameplay additions from LEGO Star Wars 2 have sort of been retroactively implemented into the prequel levels. So stuff like the building mechanic, where there will be piles of bouncing LEGO objects that you can use to build things, have been added to various areas of these levels. For example, here in Negotiations, you have to build this protocol droid panel, whereas in the original game, it was already built there for you. Also, you'll see stuff like levers, bounty hunter, or imperial door panels, red power bricks, stuff like that, all which didn't exist in the first game. Something brand new to LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga are power-ups. These are little blue orbs that make you invincible and increase your attack power for a brief period of time. It also makes your lightsaber purple for some reason. It's not a crazy new addition to the gameplay or anything, but you know, it's kind of a cool feature. Now, most of the vehicle levels from the prequels have been modified a bit. For example, the dreaded Mos Eisley pod race is now much more forgiving with its time limit. In Attack of the Clones, Gunship Cavalry has been completely changed. It now closer resembles the vehicle levels from the second game, where the camera angle is more top-down, and you gotta use tow cables to drag bombs around the map. To be honest, I find this version to be more annoying than the original, but you know, at least it makes this more consistent with the vehicle levels from the original trilogy. And speaking of Attack of the Clones, you may remember that originally there were only 5 levels for that movie. They've now added a new level, Bounty Hunter Pursuit, to give it an even 6 levels like the rest of the movies. So Bounty Hunter Pursuit is a new vehicle level that takes place at the beginning of the film, where Obi-Wan and Anakin are chasing down bounty hunter Zam Wesell on their speeders on Coruscant. The level is broken down into a few different sections. You chase Zam Wesell, then hit a roadblock where you gotta take out some turrets and stuff like that, and you basically repeat that again until you reach the final boss fight. And I would use air quotes when you call this a boss fight, because you can take out Zam Wesell in just a few seconds if you get the right angle on her. But anyway, in my opinion, this level is not the best, and I think most people probably feel the same way about that, but I'm glad that they added it just so Episode 2 isn't left with only 5 levels, like in the original 2005 game. One other thing to mention about the prequel vehicle levels is that free play mode is now available, something that didn't exist for vehicle levels in the original game. There's even some new locked doors that require you to switch to an Imperial ship in some of them, which I think is definitely an improvement, just to give the vehicle levels a bit more variety in free play. So that pretty much covers most of the changes in the prequel levels. I do think something that feels a little off is how much shorter the prequel levels are in comparison to the original trilogy ones. When you put both of those first 2 games levels in one game like you have here, it definitely makes the short length of the prequel levels stand out a bit more. But to be fair, I'm not sure there's much they could do without, completely making new levels for the prequels. Now, on the original trilogy side of things, it's mostly the same as it was in LEGO Star Wars 2. You get the improved graphics, some collectible locations like the mini-kits and red power bricks have been changed in some rare instances, but this is largely the same experience as LEGO Star Wars 2. And like before, you still have story mode and free play mode for both levels. However, now you may notice the new challenge mode option. Challenge mode has you replaying the levels, except this time you're looking for the new blue mini-kit collectibles. But the catch is that there's a time limit. For the most part, the time limit is 10 minutes. However, for some of the longer levels in the game, they give you a little bit more time. There seems to be mixed opinions on challenge mode among the player base, but I personally like it simply because it adds more content to the game and gives you another reason to jump back into the levels. And if you ever need help with either the regular mini-kits and red bricks or the new blue challenge mode mini-kits, I have guides for everything here on the channel. And in terms of replayability, each film's room in the cantina has a bonus door, just like in LEGO Star Wars 2. Here you can play the super story for that film, where you play through the entire movie in one go, as well as the character bonus and mini-kit bonus levels. And if you didn't play the second game, those are on foot and vehicle levels respectively, where you gotta collect 1 million studs within the time limit. And these levels didn't exist in the first game, so for the prequel films, this is brand new content. So overall, the main 36 levels of this game offer tons of replayability and content. If you want to see me talk about those levels more in depth, I go into detail about each one in the retrospectives for the first 2 games, again linked in the description below. So yes, if you want to do everything, you'll need to play through all 36 levels at least 4 times. You've got to do your initial story playthrough, your free play playthrough to get the mini-kits and red bricks, your challenge mode playthrough to get the blue minikits, and of course the super story playthrough. Plus there's 12 character and minikit bonus levels, 2 for each film, so yeah, this will keep you busy. But on a positive note, they removed the requirement to get true Jedi status in both free play and story mode, like they had in the second game. Now you can just get true Jedi in either mode, which is nice. And while you're doing all this, you'll be acquiring gold bricks, just like in LEGO Star Wars 2. There's a whopping 160 to collect this time around instead of 99, but like before, these are used to unlock new content throughout Mos Eisley Cantina. So back in the main room of the cantina, if we walk to the right, near the back of the tanks, we have a brand new bonus room door. Inside we have 6 additional bonus levels that unlock as you reach different gold brick thresholds. The first bonus level is Pod Race Original, which as the name suggests, this is the original version of the Mos Espa Pod Race from the 2005 game. Yeah, this is the harder version with the stricter time limit and the tighter controls. Have fun with this one. Actually, I challenge anyone to complete this level while playing online co-op. With the lag and everything, it's not exactly easy. The second bonus level is my personal favorite. It's called Anakin's Flight. This was actually a cut level from the original LEGO Star Wars game that's now been restored here in the Complete Saga, although it's a bit different than it originally was going to be. So this level has you playing as young Anakin flying an N1 starfighter, where he destroys the Trade Federation ship towards the end of the Phantom Menace. The cut version of the level was going to be a lot different. John Burton, the founder of TT Games, has uploaded footage of it on his YouTube channel if you'd like to check it out. But anyway, this plays more like the LEGO Star Wars 2 vehicle levels, where the view is more top-down. You start out on top of the Trade Federation ship, and then you make your way inside, where of course, you gotta blow some stuff up. You get to use the purple torpedo mechanic and destroy this central blue reactor-looking thing. You know, it actually might have been better if this level replaced the Retake Theed Palace level within the Phantom Menace, since that one isn't exactly loved by the player base. Let me know what you think about that. And speaking of levels not loved by the player base, the third bonus level is Gunship Cavalry Original. Now, I've said this before, but I don't understand the hate this one gets. So if you're not familiar, this is the original LEGO Star Wars 1 version of the level where it's more on rails, and you don't have the LEGO Star Wars 2 mechanics going on with the tow cables and stuff. I hear a lot of people have trouble with this one. Sure, some of the lasers can be annoying to dodge, but it's a super short level and can easily be completed in under 5 minutes. But like it or not, I do love that they brought it back in the Complete Saga. Another level that they brought forward is A New Hope. If you remember, this was the secret bonus level from the 2005 game, where you had to get true Jedi status in all 17 levels to unlock it, and it sort of served as a teaser for LEGO Star Wars 2 at the time. And now it's back in the Complete Saga in all of its glory as the 4th bonus level. In this one, you play as Darth Vader and a stormtrooper as you fight your way towards Princess Leia. It was so cool to play as Vader back in the original LEGO Star Wars game, but here it's not nearly as special since we have a full original trilogy to play now, but overall it's still cool that they remastered this one for us to enjoy. Moving on to the 5th bonus level, Lego City. Now this originally appeared in LEGO Star Wars 2 as a reward for collecting 60 gold bricks. In this one, you're placed in a generic LEGO city, which is kind of strange because it's not really Star Wars themed all that much, and you gotta collect 1 million studs. There's no time limit here or anything, but I always found this level to be a little boring, and the worst part is trying to find those last few studs, because there's essentially exactly 1 million studs in the level. There may be slightly more, but you really gotta destroy everything possible to complete it, and it's very easy to miss a minor destructible item. But anyway, Lego City returns. Now, the 6th and final bonus level is called Newtown. This is pretty much the sequel to Lego City, so if you hated that level, you're probably not going to like this one. So again, it's very similar where you're thrown into a different generic Lego City, and once again you need to collect 1 million studs. And Newtown can be just as frustrating to find that last stud you're missing, just like Lego City, so let me know which one you prefer more, Lego City or Newtown. And then the last thing in the bonus room is the trailers door. Here you can watch the intro cutscene that plays during the main menu for LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, but the bigger thing here is that you can watch the trailer for what ended up becoming 2008's LEGO Indiana Jones The Original Adventures. Fun fact about this, apparently this game was originally called LEGO Indiana Jones The Video Game, so they ended up doing a slight name change there. But I think it's so cool how they advertised their next game within this one. You definitely don't see stuff like that nowadays. But after you watch the trailer, you'll actually unlock Indiana Jones as a playable character. His animations and stuff are pretty much copy and pasted from Han Solo, since, you know, Harrison Ford, but it's really neat that he was included here. If only they put him in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. So yeah, that's the bonus room. Back in the main room, I want to briefly go over some of the new content that's available in the shop. So in terms of characters, we have everyone from LEGO Star Wars 1 and 2, plus some neat additional ones. For example, there's Boss Nass from The Phantom Menace, you got Ayla Secura from Revenge of the Sith, Plo Koon is in there as well, characters like that. Of course, now there's prequel-era vehicles to purchase here too. If you remember, in the original LEGO Star Wars game, you didn't have buyable vehicles, so that's all new. There's also way more extras this time around. Much like LEGO Star Wars 2, there's several extras that are available for purchase from the get-go, but with there now being at 36 levels, there's now 36 extras locked behind red power bricks. My favorite new extra is probably Force Grapple Leap. This allows Force-sensitive characters like Jedi to use those red grapple hook points. They just do this massive force jump instead, which is often what you'll see the AI Jedi do a lot of the times. There's a bunch of other new extras that I won't go into detail here, but if you'd like to see those, I've done a whole video on all the extras in this game if you want to check it out here on the channel. Now let's move on to the far left side of the main room where we can head outside. The outside layout here is completely different in comparison to what it looked like in LEGO Star Wars 2's Mos Eisley Cantina. Here you have a little Easter egg where you can drive a car around this little racetrack. Kind of random, but I guess it's a nice addition and gives you something to do in the cantina. You also have what I would call the mini-kit viewer. Here you can look at all the mini-kit builds from the 36 main levels in the game. In the first two games, these were scattered throughout the outside of Dexter's Diner and the cantina, but now that there's 36 of them, I think it made sense for them to condense them into this one spot where you can view them all in one place. Towards the back of the outside area is a door with Jabba the Hutt's icon. If you've played LEGO Star Wars 2, you'll know exactly what this is, and this door will be locked until you've purchased all the bounty hunter characters in the game, and then it'll unlock. But once you get inside, you'll find Jabba the Hutt, where you can complete bounty hunter missions. This works exactly like LEGO Star Wars 2. In each level, you have all the bounty hunters at your disposal, revisiting areas from the main story levels. The goal here is to find a character hidden throughout the level within the time limit. I'd say these are pretty simple, but fun. There's 20 of them to complete this time around, so it definitely adds a significant amount of content to the game. Now, back outside of the cantina, we have a gold brick build for collecting all 160 gold bricks in the game. This is probably going to take you over 30 hours to do, so what do we unlock this time? Sadly, it's the exact same thing as LEGO Star Wars 2, another highly detailed stud fountain. I'd say this one is even more useless actually than the LEGO Star Wars 2 one, since back then you needed it to buy the insanely expensive stud multiplier extras. But in LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, the stud multipliers aren't nearly as expensive, so it's highly unlikely you'll ever need this fountain. And actually, for some reason this time around it instantly unlocks all extras in the game. I imagine most people will have already purchased all the extras at this point, but let me know if the fact that this unlocks extras came in handy for you. But alright, let's wrap things up. LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga is the ultimate LEGO Star Wars game for the original George Lucas Star Wars films. This takes all the content from LEGO Star Wars the video game and LEGO Star Wars 2 the original trilogy and mashes it together into one package with hours upon hours of content and replayability. The prequel levels feel a bit short in comparison to the original trilogy, but it's great that they remastered them with updated visuals and gameplay mechanics. Another big improvement is the inclusion of online play in the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions. Being able to finally play online in a TT Games LEGO game is a blast to do. The dual arcade modes are a fun addition as well that greatly enhances the co-op experience. With the exception of the Dexter's Diner hub, you'll get all the content from the first two games and more. LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga is a must-play for any LEGO game player or Star Wars fan, so if you haven't tried this out yet, go out there and buy it. Alright, so that is my retrospective of 2007's LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you grow up with this game back when it came out, or have you played it more recently, or have you played the newer mobile version of the game that's come out since? Let me know all that in the comments below, as well as some of the other stuff I addressed throughout the video. So yeah, be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, dislike it if not, subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you guys next time here on Quick Break Games.